It's the next week, and this is the Webcomic Beacon here at webcomicbeacon.com, part of the Webcast Beacon network at webcastbeacon.com, covering and promoting creativity and the creative process since 2007. This week, we're going to start off by reviewing a comic book submitted to us years ago, and I'm really sorry about it, me taking so long to get to it, but we will be doing more reviews in the coming weeks and months, and hopefully all through summer. I've got a schedule ready, and some people have already been submitting. Stay tuned to Webcomic Beacon on Twitter, at Webcomic Beacon on Twitter, and I make periodic announcements of when I am opening up for people that want their comics to be reviewed. Typically, they're webcomics. I put them onto a list. I get a few at a time. I've already been writing some reviews on the website, but now I'm trying to do them as videos and I guess as a podcast and linking to the written reviews as well. So it kind of can be shared all over the place. We get to produce content. We get to talk about your comics and review them, and it gets kind of goes everywhere. And where am I going with this? We will have still the P.O. box available for people that actually want to mail us material. Mailed to us. If we start getting stuff again, would probably be put together in giveaways, but we'll see how that works. But right now, I've been shaking it around so much. We'll be reviewing Black Snow by Michael Balistreri and Alex Siquig. I'm really sorry. By Michael and Alex at blacksnowcomics.com. Black Snow. All right. Now, this is the second book from these guys, with the first being I'm Famous, previously reviewed. Chronologically speaking, Black Snow is set and drawn before I'm Famous. But they were published in different orders, hence the confusion. All right. Not a big deal. That just meant I read them out of order. The cover! This cover is a lot better than the I'm Famous cover. And since this was published afterwards, maybe they learned a little bit about that. From the lettering to the scene choice, it's got a lot going for it. The art of the lead character on the cover isn't terribly great, but it isn't terrible either. The background just is a little busy. I would have faded it out a little bit more. Things kind of do get lost. And this is about as good as the art gets for the comic inside. The art in this comic book is a collection of comics from about over 7 years. So that means that it includes some very stiff and crude art in the beginning, and it slowly gets better as the comic progresses. That being said, the art doesn't ever really get better than what we've already seen in I'm Famous. Though unlike I'm Famous, this is entirely in black and white. Now, I really don't want to dog on the art too much. I really don't. But I don't want to be mean. But the art isn't that great. From proportions to movement and perspective, it all needs a lot of work. But there is still that passion to tell a story in here. Again, with a printed comic book with an ISBN number, there is that pride that was taken in this comic to have it made and go through all their old stuff from 7 years and collect it like this. I mean, I respect that passion. Would I buy it for myself? No, I wouldn't. However, with reading both Michael and Alex's books, I can say that I am hopeful that they keep at it, because there is a lot of promise in here, if they can learn and grow from their mistakes. So with the art being what it is, it's up to the story to help carry it along. The story follows our protagonist, Black Snow, who wears a costume that says anti-hero on it. Which is a bit confusing, because you would think that the hero, that his name is Anti-Hero, which I thought. However, it dawned on me that it's a sort of a joke in and of itself, since the character's powers are actually random and never quite actually help him out. At least I think that's the joke they were looking for, unless they're making like a Punisher sort of joke. But clearly, since he has powers, it don't work. Anyway, in any case, the story, a cast of several heroes or hero wannabes, in which they all basically want to make a name for themselves, to stake their claim in the Motor City. Many of these characters have their own development, arcs, and several of which are completed by the end of the 7-year run, which is all collected here. So there's good points in here. Overall, I did have a hard time getting into this story. Even with a couple of extended fight sequences, the comic was losing my attention. Perhaps too much going on at once, or I was simply just disinterested. Still, compared to I'm Famous, the story for Black Snow is actually much tighter and more complex. We do get several appearances of I'm Famous's Lone Wolf in this comic, but he doesn't seem as insane, so maybe something happened in between the two stories in which he lost it. This is the complete original comic book series for Black Snow, so that does mean that this book is all there is, aside from the spin-off comic. And I will say that this comic book ends a lot better than I'm Famous, because it does feel like it actually ends satisfactory. Things have come full circle enough, and lessons were learned and things like that. It's not a great comic, but I see the passion that went into it. And like I said, it very much relies on the characters, and so it's not great, but it was interesting enough to go through it. This, again, their first comic, 7 years, all collected here, and they had a lot more fun with I'm Famous, I'm sure, and I'm really interested to see what other things they've been working on, because if they just keep at it, I know they're just going to keep getting better and better. Though I would like to see a little bit more complex storytelling, but like last week's review, I'm Famous is sort of just fun nonsense. So that's enough for both of these comics. Again, Black Snow, BlackSnowComics.com. Black Snow will be one of the comics given away in the last Webcomic Beacon comic book giveaway. Let me grab the other one so you can see one last time what you could be getting. I'm Famous, Poorcraft, Side A and Side B. We Can Fix It. The Neighbors Have Two Flamingos. Twisted Peel, Family Bones, Catching Lucifer's Lunch, Jenny Everywhere When Casting Calls, Ardra Issue 1, The Road Trip, A Parent's Guide to Clown Safety, Custard on Chinchilla Island, and Song from the Raven Planet. You can all get these. Only one winner will receive all of that. 2 other winners will receive a couple of different books. And I'm sure I'll have the complete description in the show notes for this episode. And with that out of the way, Comic of the Week. This week's Comic of the Week is Pear-Pear by Peter T Donahue. Pantomime comics can be quite interesting and tend to be a favorite of mine when done right. And Pear-Pear isn't exactly a pantomime, or perhaps not a typical pantomime, if only in the sense that the dialogue of the character tends to be pictorial representations of what is being conveyed. So it could work for almost any language, basically. I mean, I've seen other pantomime comics use this sort of method, but Pear-Pear does it quite a lot. Like a pantomime within a pantomime. Then perhaps I don't know what technically constitutes a comic to be a pantomime comic. Still, doesn't have dialogue. Yes, I will say pantomime again. Pantomime! Anyway, aside from the presentation, which is a very nice black and white style, the comic mainly follows a pair on its adventures around the kitchen. It interacts with other fruit and objects such as a coffee mug, a coffee cup, and other fruit. And it's just a really interesting comic that doesn't need words, so it can be easily enjoyed by a huge audience. Very, very accessible. The comic doesn't seem to be updating at the time of this pick, but the archive is still well worth checking out. Very interesting, and I really hope it starts updating again, if it hasn't already. You can find that at pear-pear.com. Safe for work overall. Some mild violence if you call fruit fighting really violent. But no, great comic. Check it out. And that is it for this week's episode of the Webcomic Beacon, and that's it for Comic of the Week. Next week, I'll be doing, finally getting to the reviews, finally getting to review webcomics that were submitted in the last couple of months. January, I believe, I had opened up submissions for reviews. So I'll be going over those and checking those out. Remember, please don't submit anything for review, specifically for Webcomic Beacon review, unless I announce that I'm accepting it. Only for the reason that things just keep getting lost and things pile up, and I only have the chance to do one a week right now. Doesn't mean that you can't send like a press release or a heads up about, hey, check out this comic if you'd like, but don't ask to be interviewed or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep everything sorted out for now. Interviews that I'll be doing, I hope to do more interviews for the future of the Webcomic Beacon, but those will be on a as I'd like to basis and with who I'd like to. So I have some ideas for some I'd like to do, but again, the Webcomic Beacon isn't really as it used to be anymore. Mainly focusing on reviews right now. Maybe might get back into doing comic news again. The thing is, it's really just me right now, and I'm not able to do all of that anymore. But the reviews I'm really starting to like right now. Short, simple, and Comic of the Week, really like those as well. So again, if there's anybody out there that has any ideas or some suggestions or has an idea for another edition or a segment to the Webcomic Beacon or the Webcast Beacon Network, doesn't hurt to ask. Send us email at webcastbeacon@gmail.com for regular Webcast Beacon Network inquiries or suggestions or thoughts. And then webcomicbeacon@gmail.com for Webcomic Beacon related stuff. With that, I've been Fes, and see you next week.